Hi crocheters of the world, in this tutorial I want to show you how to crochet this hexagon motif that you can work so many lovely projects. Actually I haven't finished it yet. So as you can see, it's here. I didn't cut the yarn because I just want to continue on, but in the tutorial I will show you how to work it, because actually after you get the idea, the hang of it, it's really easy to continue on for the length and width that you want for your project. It can be a carpet, it can be a tablecloth, it can be a blanket, round blanket, cushion, and so on. So there are so many beautiful things that you can work with it. Now what I want to say is that it is worked with the jasmine stitch, and the jasmine stitch is one of my favorites. So it's the broomstick lace stitch, it's the leaf stitch, the jasmine stitch. So these are my favorites, and I actually made a playlist with all that I have. All the projects that I have with already have with this beautiful stitch, and its variations, because there are variations of this stitch. So you can just go on and just take a look on all of those projects. I put I put it here on from informations on the right side corner of the screen. So let us begin. It's a very lovely project. Just look the stitch, so beautiful. So let's see how to work this lovely thing. So we will begin with I am working on a cotton yarn. With a cotton yarn, it's a number 3. So it's for crochet hook 2.5 to 3 millimeters. I'm working with 3.5 because I don't want it to be very rigid, so I want it to be nice and soft. Okay, we will begin with the magic circle. Pull up a loop, chain to block the magic circle, and chain one more. So we need 2 chains, and these 2 chains stands for our first double crochet. Now work one more, don't finish it. We work the basic stitch will be a cluster worked with 3 double crochets together. So 1, 2 and 3. Yarn over, pull through 2 and remain like this. Yarn over, pull through all 3 together, and now chain 1. Chain 2 more, and let's go on and work the second cluster. So 1 double crochet, don't close it. Second, don't finish it. Third, don't finish. Yarn over, pull through all, and chain 1 to secure. Chain 2. And this is how we continue on. So first double crochet, unfinished, second unfinished, third unfinished, yarn over, pull through all loops on the hook, chain 1 to secure, and 2 more. And we need 6, so pull through 2 and don't finish, yarn over, pull through 2 and don't finish, pull through 2 and don't finish, pull through all, chain 1 to secure, chain 2. Let's go on. 1, 2 and 3. 1 and 2. 1, 2 and 3. Chain 1 and 2 more. Oh, let me see how many we have. Yes, I have 6. Okay, so stop. It was so nice to work these clusters. Okay, I cannot stop. Now we want only 6. We have our 6. I will insert hook to finish into the chain, secure chain of my very first cluster, slip stitch to join, and to finish the first round. For the second round, we will work a chain 2 for the very first clusters, the very first double crochet of the first cluster, insert hook into the secure chain of the very first cluster of the first round, and work half of a double crochet, yarn over, and work another to finish the cluster. Yarn over, pull through all, and chain 1 to secure. This is the solitary cluster. Now we have to work 2 more, but we will work them together. So chain 2 to begin, insert hook into the secure chain of the first cluster, but try to insert hook through 2 loops. Now pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 for the second double crochet, same thing for the first. But we don't want to close, leave 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, and we go exactly into the secure chain where we work the first cluster of the second round, so this one, the solitary, I named it, and insert hook into the same chain, secure chain, and work another cluster. 1 single crochet, double crochet, so sorry, 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and 3. And here we have them all. We have 6 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through all, and chain 1 to secure, chain 2. Now this is what we have to complete to work for the second round on the top of each cluster of the very first round. Let me show you one more time. So yarn over to begin with the solitary cluster into the secure chain of the second cluster of the first round. So 1 double, unfinished, second and third. Yarn over, pull through all, chain 1 to secure, chain 2, insert hook into the secure chain of the solitary cluster, and now let's go on and work the 2 together. So was the chain 2, beginning chain 2 for the first double crochet, this is the second, don't finish them, and the third. This is my first cluster of the 2 together, so I don't want to finish it by itself. Yarn over, insert hook into the chain where you already worked your solitary cluster, 1 double crochet, unfinished, second double crochet, unfinished, and third for the second cluster. Now we have 6 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through all, and chain 1 to secure. Don't forget to chain 2 to begin with your third cluster. Now I will show you one more time, maybe it's a little bit difficult, so let's go on with I go on a little bit faster. 1, 2, 3, solitary cluster, chain 2 to begin the 2 clusters together, 1 double, second double. I finished the first, yarn over, and now into the secure chain where I worked my solitary cluster, I will work my second. 1, 2, and 3 double crochets, unfinished, 3, 6 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through all, and chain 1 to secure, chain 2, and I will continue on 3 more times. Almost finished my second round, so as you can see, I have, actually there are 3 clusters on the top of each 6 petals, and actually it's the jasmine stitch, only that it is worked in a particular way to obtain this really, really lovely shape and effect actually. And we have 3 clusters on the top of each, I said, of each of the 6 of the first round. And now from the third round we will begin by working the stitch. I will show you. We worked only 2 together. Now from the third round we will work the stitch as it is actually. So insert hook to finish, to join on the top of the first solitary cluster into the chain, insert hook and slip stitch to join. So this is my second round. So from the third round we will finally work 1 jasmine stitch, entire jasmine stitch. And I don't know if you know, I put the links below of my tutorials with the jasmine stitch that I already did in the past, and I explained, hope I explained well how to work the jasmine stitch, and that the jasmine stitch is composed by 3 clusters together, or 3 puff stitches together. So instead of clusters, you can just work puff stitches if you want more fluffy your project to be. Okay, so now we begin. In each round, we will begin each petal with a solitary cluster. So here it is. I chain 2 for the solitary cluster, and on the top of the first cluster of the solitary cluster of the previous round, work this one. Chain 1 to secure. Now, as I said before, we want to work a entire jasmine stitch, which means we will work 3 clusters close together. The first one will be worked here, the second exactly where we work the solitary cluster, and the third here. Okay, so chain 2, insert hook into the secure chain of your solitary cluster and work 2 more double crochet. Don't close them, of course, don't finish them. Yarn over, pull through to remain like this. 3 loops on the hook. Now where we work the solitary cluster into the same secure chain, work your second cluster. 6 loops on the hook, yarn over and into this one. So we have 1, 2 and 3 of the second round. So it's here. 1, 2 and 3. We have 9 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through all and chain 1 to secure. This is my first jasmine stitch. And now we will work again 2 together. 1 here and 1 into the same place where you work the third of this 3 together. So 1 here and 1 here to complete the petal for this third round. So here we work chain 2 plus 2 more double crochet for the first cluster. Okay, and where you work the third for the 3 together, where you began to work the third, work the second here now. 6 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through all, and here we have it. Here we have our third round of our petal. So this is one petal. One petal begins with this cluster, then goes with 3, and now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. But it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Okay, so it's not important how many clusters. It's important for you to understand that we have 1 solitary, then 3 together, then 2 together. And we will repeat this all around for this third round. Chain 2, don't forget to chain 2. Now go on the second petal into the solitary cluster of the second petal. Work your solitary cluster, single cluster, how can I say, how can I name it? Okay, chain 1. Now we begin with 3 clusters stitch. 1, 2. This is the first. Chain 2 plus 2 more double crochets, sorry, only 2. Now where we work the solitary cluster, we work the second. 1, 2 and 3. We have 6 loops on the hook, yarn over, and here where we work the 2 together of the previous round, exactly into the same chain, the secure chain of the 2 together, we want to work our third. So we have 1, 2, 3, 9 loops on the hook, pull through all 9, chain 1 to secure. And now we have to work 2 together, so 2 clusters together, chain 2 and insert hook into the secure chain of the 3 together and work your first. Now where you work exactly into the secure chain of the 2 together of the previous round, so where you work actually the third of the 3 together, now insert hook and work the second. 1, 2 and 3. Pretty easy. Yarn over, pull through 6, chain 1 to secure, chain 2 more, and let's get started. Let's go on with 1, 2, 3, 4 more. We have to complete 4 more. So this is the first petal, second petal. We just go on like this. Exactly the same thing. You have to just work 4 more times. So 1, 3 together, 2 together. So I finished my third round. Now let's go on with the fourth. What I want to tell you is that from the fourth, I just can say the formula that you have to repeat and repeat round by round to increase. So I will tell you on one petal because it's exactly the same thing that you have to do on the other petal. Now what you have to do is, see here we have 2, we finished the third round and we have 2 horizontal clusters, these 2, 1 and 2, which means we will work, so the horizontal clusters at the end of one round, we give the number of the 3 together that we have to work. How many? 3 together, 3 clusters together. So jasmine stitch, completed jasmine stitch we have to work in the next round, which means here we have to work 2. This is the very first part of the formula. The second is that each petal in each round begins and finishes with begins with 1 cluster, solitary cluster, and finish with 2 together. 2 together. Okay? And in the middle we will have the 3 together, that in this fourth we will have 2. Then into the fifth we will have 3. So 1 more as you go on. Okay? Now let me show you how to work. So we begin with the solitary cluster. Chain 2, 1 and 2 more double crochet to complete the cluster, and chain. Now let us begin with the first, and now so we work first the solitary cluster, then we work the 3 together, and at the end, as I said, we work so 3 together, as many as the horizontal cluster we have, and then the 2 together. Now let's go on and work the first 3 together. So the first jasmine actually stitch, chain 2 plus 2 double crochet for the first cluster. Now into the chain where you work the solitary cluster, work your second cluster of the jasmine stitch, skip the first horizontal and in the middle into the chain here, work your third. 9 loops on the hook, chain 1 to secure. Let us begin the second. Chain 2 into the secure chain, work 1 double and 1 more for the first cluster. Now where you work the third of the 3 clusters for the first group of 3, work the second for the second jasmine stitch, second groups of 3 clusters, and skip the second horizontal cluster into the last chain before the chain 2 space in between the petals, work the third cluster for the 3. Now yarn over, pull through all 9, chain 1 to secure. I already worked my solitary cluster and my 3 together 2 times. Now what I want to work, as I said before, we always finish with 2 together. Always the 2 together will work them here into the chain, a secure chain of the last 3 together, here the first, and the second where we work the third, into the chain where we work the third of the last jasmine stitch, so the third cluster of the last. So chain 2 and set hook into the chain, work 1 and 2 double crochets for the first cluster, and before and with the second cluster we finish with a 2 clusters together, chain 2 secure, chain 2 to skip on the other petal. Okay, and so we have, again, I am repeating because it is very important. So we have 1 cluster, 3 together, 3 together, 2 clusters together. Now exactly the same thing I will continue on. The solitary cluster is always work into the chain, secure chain of the solitary cluster of the previous round. So it's here in each petal, obvious. 1, 2, and 3. And now I will just continue on to repeat work 3 together, 2 times. Then I will finish the petal with 2 together. This is the first. It is not difficult. And I don't know, I really love the jasmine stitch. This will be the first, so I will skip the first horizontal cluster. And now I continue on with the second and then with 2 together. Okay, let me finish this round, so I'll be back to show you again the formula, how it looks and how it goes. Okay. Three together. Now I just have to work my 2 together to finish the second petal and to skip to the other. So I finished the 4th, and now let's go on. I just want to show you the 5th, just because I said now we have 3 horizontal clusters, which means we'll work 3 jasmine stitches, entire jasmine stitches, so with 3 clusters together. But first of all, as I said before, we just want to begin with the solitary cluster. The solitary cluster, it is always worked into the secure chain of the solitary cluster of the previous round. So here you can see chain 2 plus 2 more double crochets. Chain 2 secure, and now let us begin with 3 jasmine stitches. This is the first cluster of the first jasmine into the secure chain where we work the solitary. We work the second cluster of the first jasmine, we skip the first horizontally and we work the third. Always to work the third we skip 1 horizontal cluster. We have 3 together and chain 1 to secure. Let's go with the second jasmine stitch. So 3 clusters together, 1, 2 and 3. This is my first. Now where I work my third cluster of the first jasmine stitch, I will work my second of the second and skip 1 horizontal to finish with your third. Always for the third skip 1 horizontal. Okay, chain 1 to secure, and now let's go on with the third and the last jasmine stitch. Work the first cluster. Where you work the third, we will work the third of the previous jasmine stitch. We work the second of this one, and always to work the third we skip 1 horizontal. And this is the last because we work it before the chain 2. And so we know that this is the last. Okay, we don't finish yet because to finish 1 petal we always work 2 together. This is the first, 2 clusters together, and into the same where we work the third of the last jasmine stitch, we work the second of the 2 together. Chain 2 because we've finished. Now, as I said before, now we have 1, 2, 3 and 4 horizontal clusters, which means into the next round we will work 4 jasmine stitches. We always begin with 1 solitary, we always finish with 2 together. So with this formula you can just continue on to work as many rounds as you want for the project. You can work a round tablecloth, you can work a round carpet, you can work it with puff stitch and will be so nice and soft carpet, or you can work cushions, or I don't know, you can work them like this, so with 4 or 5 rounds and put together more motifs to create a nice blanket, or maybe a poncho, or I don't know, so many beautiful things you can work with this. Now it is a hexagon. As you can see, it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So with hexagons we can work so many beautiful things. So just a little bit of inspiration. You can work it nice and large, and this can be 2 pieces and make a nice round bag. So there are so many ideas to work. Hope you enjoy this tutorial. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, so if you want to see more videos from me on crochet, Tunisian crochet and knitting, and if you want to share with me photos of projects that you worked followed one of my tutorials, I am always happy to see them. You can just private message me on my Facebook page, or so easy, you can just tag me on Instagram. So I'm always happy to see your projects made following one of my ideas, one of my tutorials. See you at the next tutorial. Bye bye.